Hello. Today I will be speaking about my reflection on Public Communications 121 with Natalie Wagner. In Fundamentals of Public Communication, I have learned quite a few of techniques to improve upon my speaking skills to an audience, but also audience analysis. This course has shown me how well I can speak in front of an audience and what it takes to do so. So on the topic of speaking and delivery skills, I didn't have much past public speaking experience at all. I did speeches in middle school. I didn't do very many in high school, and none of them were extremely public. They were more over something like this class, where it was just a classroom and I gave my view on something like a persuasive topic or an informative like we've done in this class. So I never really had much of a public speaking class even at that. So I didn't have very well developed speech skills as is. I was very good at speaking to people, but I didn't have very good technique whereas I could use it in public speaking. So some concerns that I had coming into this speech would be saying the wrong things, I guess, in front of people. It's moreover something where I'd be embarrassed for myself, like personal image and stuff like that. I was afraid that I would kind of mess it up and not do well, and I would be really hard on myself. And I was afraid that I would stumble over my words and mispronounce things and things like that, which I had been working on throughout the semester, like being able to pronounce things correctly and being able to enunciate and being able to be loud enough for people to hear me and understand me. Some improvements that I wanted to make were the rate of speed of talking to the audience. That continues to this day to be a problem that I handle and that I deal with, but I continually tell myself to slow down and to watch my rate of speaking, which is very important in that I wouldn't want some information that's vital to what I'm presenting to be just over someone's head and they wouldn't be able to understand what I'm speaking about because I'm speaking way too fast. So my breathing rate is also another topic that I wanted to improve upon. The reason I say breathing rate is because I feel like I would speak so fast that I wouldn't be able to breathe and I wouldn't be able to calm down and find myself collected in front of people. I mean, it may have seemed like throughout all my speeches that I was fine, that my breathing was fine, but I felt that it was very heavy, and that is a result of speaking too fast and too quickly, too much to say at once. So those were my improvements that I wanted to at least improve upon. Some evidence that I have improved upon this would be actually peer reviews that they have spoken to me about. So my first two speeches, which were my persuasive and informal, both of those pertain to my major, and my major is environmental sciences. So both of those were water conservation and also global climate change in the Midwest. And I had a few people come up to me and tell me how much passion I had in my words and how much I really made them mean something to them because of the way that I spoke about it and the way that I carried myself about it, and that I was very serious about the topic that I was speaking on. So I got really good reviews from that, so that was something that I definitely improved upon, was the way that I speak with a lot of confidence in what I believe in. But also my awards speech that I had just given, on my delivery, I got a lot of compliments on that. And I feel that that's evidence of improvement because I was very personable about it, and I was excited about it, and I had a lot of emphasis on things, which really grabbed the audience's attention. So skills I feel like I already had utilized and that I kind of gained over time was the confidence and passion that I speak upon with any of my topics. I feel like you have to pick a topic that you're confident in to be able to deliver it correctly. If you don't have a topic that you don't believe in, you're not going to be at your best delivery rate. What I would do is I would apply these skills to politics and public speaking. I personally would really like to go into environmental politics, so I feel like this would greatly benefit my future career because it totally enraptures everything that politics is about, like public speaking, being able to portray yourself a certain way with such confidence in your own words and in the information you're presenting. So moving on to audience analysis, the impact that audience analysis, like the audience analysis oriented book has had is astronomical. Honestly, I think more about the audience than like how I would feel when I'm giving this topic. When I think about the audience, I think audience oriented, and I think about how they view my speech from their point of view rather than how I view my speech, what I made. I feel that it made my speeches a lot more versatile. It made them a little bit more to attention grabbing and more able to have people like understand what I'm talking about and make them have more interest. So I try to make it more where I didn't write it, but it was written for the audience and it wasn't written specifically for me. Prior to learning about audience analysis, I actually didn't take the audience into consideration whatsoever, just because I was like, I'm writing this speech, this is my speech, I'm going to make it the way that I want to. But when I got into audience analysis with this course, it made sense because you're giving the speech to the audience. The audience are the people that you are speaking to, and it should be oriented to them specifically. And the challenges I had with audience analysis would be determining the interest levels of the class of the topics that I'm presenting. I picked topics that pertain to everyone, such as global climate change and water conservation, because those both pertain to all people. But I had to find a way to make it interesting. I had to find a way to make it so they could actually relate to the topics, even if they don't have interest to it. So that was a challenge, most definitely. And the attention grabbers was also a challenge, especially with the topics that I had. It was kind of hard to think of attention grabbers that I could do for such kind of serious topics, but I eventually kind of figured it out I did a model on my informative speech. I did a predictive model. And then with the water conservation, I brought in a jug of water, trying to portray visually how much water it actually is. And I learned a lot from audience analysis, from determining the audience's view on information, and it's been a really good technique learning from the audience. I learned that they may not be interested while I'm interested in it, so I need to make it interesting for them specifically. And I shaped my speeches significantly to the audience because they are the people who are listening and they're the people who are the most important people in there. Because they're the one receiving the speech and perceiving it and taking the information in. A couple examples, a couple in-class examples would be my award speech, where I shaped it significantly for the audience because I put emphasis on words. I used different word plays so they would be paying attention and they would be following along. And I also used a gallon of water, like I said a little bit earlier, on the speech with water conservation. I used that gallon of water, which was really beneficial because it actually showed the audience how much it was. And this could help in my future by better analyzing my audience, especially for the career I'd like to go in with the politics and the environment. Analyzing my audience would help out quite a bit with my speeches that I would tailor to them, to the audience. And effective listening. So some examples of that were during persuasives. I enjoy listening to persuasive speeches because I like hearing different sides of people, and I like learning about the different sides. And a specific example would be Josie Grogg's persuasive speech on GMOs. I actually learned a lot from that, and she actually had a point of view that not a lot of people had, and actually went home and I told my family about it, like, hey, isn't this interesting, and all that jazz and stuff. So I thought that listening moment really showed how much I really do listen and how much I do care about what other people have to say about their topics and their views. So what did I learn from effective listening? So I learned that the more you listen, the more information you're going to know. You're going to find out a lot more information if you listen and you process what they're speaking upon. And in the book by Beebe, the Public Speaking Handbook, it says better listening skills make better speakers. So I greatly agree with that, and I feel like being a good listener is vital to speaking in public also. So in real life, you could apply this to a job meeting. You could apply effective listening to a job meeting, because if you're not listening effectively, you can't give good feedback. You can't learn anything from it, and you can't give good feedback to whoever is speaking, and they deserve the good feedback. And according to Beebe from the Public Speaking Handbook, it is better to get better effective listeners get major points like memorized rather than facts. And lastly, on developing ideas, ways that this class made an impact. It's made me speak a lot easier in front of other people, quite honestly, and it's made me stumble less over my words. It's made me kind of a little bit more personal, a little bit more open with what I'm speaking about, and it's made me feel very okay with speaking about what I'm passionate about. Because I was a little bit afraid before this class to speak what I was passionate upon, because I was afraid to hear other people's opinions countering mine. And I also learned that if you speak on a topic you're passionate about, the outcome is tremendously better than a topic that you're not interested in, that you're not passionate about. The topic is very important that you pick one that you're interested in and one that you're passionate about, because it will shape your whole entire speech. And I found that I'm really good at public communications because of this class. And I feel that because of this class, I feel I should take it a little bit further into politics, like I said earlier, and going into public speaking that way with my environmental concerns. And so in conclusion, I have found this course very beneficial in that I developed speaking skills oriented to an audience, which will help me further me in my future career and for the rest of my life. Thank you.